Well, I'm surprised he was allowed to say it, because if there's one thing the BBC do, it's take all that money for granted, right? Hugh Edwards says it would be a mistake for BBC to take licence fee for granted. Hi, yeah, it's me again, and I'm surprised he was allowed to say that, because every single day the BBC take the licence fee money for granted. They get about 3.7 billion with a B quid a year. And all you have to do is flick through the Freedom of Information requests on that What Do They Know website, and you will see how for granted they take it. The amount of taxis they pay for, tens of thousands of pounds of taxis not used. Same with hotel rooms, same with train tickets. They buy booze for the office. They're wasting your money because they can. 3.7 billion quid a year is a huge amount of money. You know, for comparison's sake, ITV does a similar thing, right? It doesn't have the radio and a lot of the infrastructure, but a similar thing nonetheless, right? They turn over 1.4 billion quid a year, which is still, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But it's not 3.7 billion, and they're gifted that every year. They don't even have to try for that. And that's why they waste it, and they take it for granted every single day. So I don't quite know what Hugh Edwards is talking about, but let's have a look, I suppose. I think it would be a mistake if at any point the BBC takes audiences and the licence fee for granted. Did he honestly say that with a straight face? He thinks it would be a mistake if the BBC take audiences and the licence fee for granted. They're taking audiences for granted every single day. They're just turning out dross when they were once the pride of the world. It's a long time ago now. So it takes audience and licence fees for granted, especially now that younger people have different consumption patterns, Hugh began. It has a bigger job than ever before to justify its place and funding. People are more cynical than ever before, and that is partly to do with the way people consume social media and tell themselves that certain things are not right or genuine. Supporting the arts and education is a crucial function of the BBC, especially those parts which wouldn't make it in a harsh commercial world. And that's the problem with the BBC all over, right? People defend it because it should support arts and the education stuff and show stuff that would never be shown on a commercial channel that needs to make proper money, right? And that is one good part of the BBC. They do stuff like that. But the problem with stuff like that is nobody watches them. That's why the commercial channels don't pick it up. You can't tell me that if ballet and classical music and art stuff got viewers, that ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, Sky wouldn't jump all over it. Right? So the BBC is just picking up the dregs and showing stuff, which is part of what makes it, you know, Britain's channel, you know, all of that nonsense. But it's saying here it's a bigger job than ever before to justify its place and funding. People are more cynical now, partly to do consume social media. It's the younger people that aren't tuning in to the BBC. BBC doesn't have a problem with people over the age of 40 tuning in to it. There's plenty for them, even though they've come out and said they're not going to make any more stuff for anyone over the age of 40. You just watch what we make. BBC are focusing all its attention on the younger people, and there's a reason for that. They're the licence fee payers of the future. But with all the efforts they're going to, all the expense of bringing back BBC Three, they're still not winning. And there's a reason for that. Younger people don't tune in to broadcast telly. The thought of tuning in, like to me, I'm not a younger person, I'm 41, right? But the thought of, Tuesday at 8 for my favourite show to come on and having to be there, I can't be cooking dinner, or I can't be out with my mates, or I can't be doing whatever, I can't work late, nothing, right? Because I've got to watch my favourite show Tuesday at 8. It's not the world we live in anymore. You stick your streaming service on, you watch what you want to watch, whenever you want to watch it, and as much of them as you want. That's what the kids have been brought up with. And broadcast TV's a dinosaur to them. The licence fee is not something they're going to consider paying when these kids move out into university digs or into their own places. The licence fee is unnecessary to them. He added, I would argue that it is very good value for money, says the man who works at the BBC earning almost £1 million a year. Is it almost? No, it might be less than that. It might be less than that. Hold on. I know, sorry, it's about £500,000, but he does top it up a lot. They reckon he makes a couple of 100,000 from doing private events and speeches and stuff like that, using the images gained from the BBC, which you're not supposed to be able to do. But yeah, it's no wonder he's going to defend it, really. And then you see this headline here as well, look. Hugh Edwards embarrassed by calls for knighthood after Queen's death coverage. I bet he was. I bet he's begging for that knighthood. So you've got to act a bit humble, haven't you? Oh, no. But inside, he wants that knighthood. You know he doesn't. Good for him if he can get one. It's not something I'm ever going to get, is it? And that should bump his salary up a little bit. But these people who currently work for the BBC on high wages and looking forward to a nice BBC pension, what they say is bias. They're biased because you protect your employer. If someone started slacking my employer off, I'd defend them to the hill. Those are the people that put a roof above my head and keep me in crisps and diesel. I'm going to defend them. And that's all Hugh's doing here. So you can't really listen to too much what they got to say. But I am surprised he was allowed to say it would be a mistake for the BBC to take the licence fee for granted, when anyone reading that and anyone watching this video will know that's complete and utter nonsense, because that's what they do every single day. So what do you reckon about this one then? And do you think Hugh Edwards should be knighted for his coverage regarding the Queen's death? I can't say I really saw a lot of it. I saw a bit around a mate's house and around my sister's house a little bit, and a few clips on YouTube that I stumbled across, but I don't know, doesn't really bother me. But let me know what you think about it, if you think he deserves that knighthood, and about what he said in the other article. All your comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.